What you're looking at right now is a cutscene from the 2018 video game Detroit Become Human. In this scene, a sentient android named Marcus is asked by its owner, an old artist named Carl, to try to make a painting. Carl wants to see what an artificial intelligence can create. The scene is relatively famous and it's been used a lot, but behind the complex plot of Detroit Become Human, we can ask a question of the possibility of AI-made art. We'll come back to this cutscene later. Let's first have a quick reflection on AI and artistic creation while I continue my painting in the background. And this is a human painting and it's not been made by AI. So the question is, will artists ever become obsolete? Will AI ever be capable of producing fine art and not simply low-tier imitations? It's a question that's worth thinking about. After all, a couple of decades ago, nobody thought that machines could be superior at chess or Go, but now there's no way to deny it. They crush absolutely everybody. It's not just a matter of pure calculation power. AI is also capable of learning on its own now. Like the best chess engine, Alphazero learned entirely on its own, playing millions of games against itself, with no access to any human theory on the game. So, of course, right now, most AI art is rather weak and blurry, but it's a brand new field of experience. But the question is still valid. Can we crank up the machine, fit it with all the images we've created in the history of art, and program it to teach itself how to create the masterpieces for the future? I know most of you will naturally try to defend humans, right? Because it's the last thing we still have against machines, creativity. But I think we shouldn't be too old school about it. If AI is actually the future of art, it's better to learn about it and use it to make great art with it. You have to realize that any innovation creates some dislikes. People at some point disliked books, they disliked the internet. It's a natural tendency against innovation. So let's not fall into this trap and give AI a chance. To start the reflection, let's go back to the cutscene with the android Marcus. When asked by its owner what he thinks about the human painting, he's kind of puzzled. Here the game offers a choice of opinion because the plot focuses on the rise of sentience and feelings in the androids, but ultimately I think it's obvious that a machine will never really experience anything significant with human art. It's just raw data. Just like the chess program Alphazero, it never really celebrated its victory over the other engines. The program was just stopped and that's it. Actually, the AI never really wanted to play in the first place. That's humans. Humans want to play. AI just does what it's programmed to do. Now, we should keep the question of AI being capable of emotions for the end. It's a key to the plot of Detroit Become Human, and it's also a key to our reflection. So let's keep that for the end and see what we can first learn. First, let's review some of the strong points of AI and how it could help a machine create art. AI is extremely good at copying and replicating patterns. This is why Marcus's first instinct of what art means was to try to do a copy. His first try was an almost perfect copy. But Carl tells him that it's not the way to go, so take that hyperrealism. AI is also extremely strong at calculation and playing within a given set of rules. That's why I think music is a piece of cake for an AI. I think AI will soon dethrone many low-tier musicians because popular Western music is an easy game to play for a machine. You just give the machine the rules of music theory, program it well, and give it good quality samples, and very soon most people won't be capable of hearing the difference between human music and AI music. Well, I'm sure you'll find your usual, people saying it's not real music, implying that the machine created the music for them. But it's wrong. Actually, the machine only creates music because humans program them to. And this is the point. The point is to help actual humans make more music faster, better. I think that for most musicians, very soon, AI will be a new powerful tool, just like a camera or a digital tablet are tools for visual artists. And all instrumental music, and I say instrumental music, can easily be machine created. Now, ultimately, a couple of things can still survive in human music, and I think they are still irreplaceable, so we reach kind of a limitation. First, the human voice. It's always going to be very hard to synthesize to perfection in a song, but who knows? I also think that the invention of new genres will remain a human thing for a long time. I don't think AI could ever invent a new genre like the next hip-hop, for instance. There are some specific human experiences that only humans can express, like, let's say, living in violent, impoverished areas. And only humans can find this extra creative need to explore new territories. And the same goes for meaningful texts and lyrics. AI can always create pastiche of regular texts used in popular songs. And the good thing is most of pop culture is really simple and repetitive. But I can't really see an AI creating and writing original and meaningful lyrics. The thing is, you can always pastiche, and pastiche is kind of an imitation. You recreate the same style and then the same approach. You just change the content, but you keep the same style. Now, I think this is what machines are capable of. Now let's talk about painting. The main limitation for a machine would obviously be to handle the paint. Not that many people think about this, but it's incredibly complex. And I really don't see how you can program a machine because it's all about controlling fluids. There are drippings and stuff, and fluids, it's very chaotic, it's very messy. And it's really hard to control. Just picking up a brush and having a fluid motion is something hard enough, even for a human. So I don't see really how you can program a machine to find out on its own how exactly they're supposed to handle this mess. So what Marcus does with this palette in this cutscene is not for tomorrow, but who knows what they can do in the future. And let's give the machines a chance for now and allow them to paint digitally. Well, let's say you allow them to only paint digitally and you print. Would they be capable of creating fine art? It's a tough question because apparently we've all agreed that this is art, and this, and this. So I think we're screwed if we want to judge the quality of AI painting, because we declared that art can't be judged and that anything goes. And that's not even the machine's fault, that's our fault. So the art market says that anything goes, and people even sell paintings done by pigs. So I give up, seriously. No, let's move on. Well, let's ask this final question instead. Can AI ever become a poet? Well, this question is quite simple because I think that using only words can make the reflection more fair for the machine. You have a form of expression, poetry, that's only using words, and the machine knows all the rules of language. The machine knows how to build sentences, but can it convey an actual poetic message? That's the key question. I think poetry is the best way to investigate this. Let's take this famous sentence by French poet Paul Éluard. Can an AI write La courbe de tes yeux fait le tour de mon cœur? Can it write like French poet Victor Hugo, Demain dès l'aube, à l'heure où blanchit la campagne, je partirai? It's a poem where the author describes the journey he has to walk to visit the grave of his deceased daughter. well, it would imply that the AI can fall in love or be aware of the possibility of death. And I think that here, exactly here, we've reached the ultimate limitation of AI regarding art. It doesn't die. Alright, let me explain. We humans create art because we are helpless in the face of death. Even when the poem is just about the beauty of the face of someone loved, or describes the color of the countryside, it's an experience that's written to survive death. Léopoldine Hugo died, and so did her father, Victor, and yet this human experience of sorrow survives in these words. Likewise, Gala Éluard, which became later Gala Dali, is dead, and so is Paul Éluard, and yet the experience of the surreal beauty of her eyes lives on and transcends her death. I can even talk about it right now, even though I wasn't even born when she died. All things fade away. Art just makes them fade away slower, and can make them survive for a long time if it's preserved well enough. And I think that all artists subconsciously know what it means to create art and what it means to think about preservation and conservation of art. You wouldn't believe how many amateur artists ask me about, is this archival? And because the simple idea of their art dying before them would be unbearable and would make the very act of creating vain. I mean, you don't want to create a painting if the painting dies before you, right? I mean, you want something archival. You want to use the best material that will last, like theoretically, for a long time. At least you aim for a millennium if you can. All artists want, like all painters, are obsessed with archivability. And you wouldn't imagine how we don't create art for nothing. We create art because we know that at some point we're not going to be in this world anymore, but we hope that the art that we created will be a trace of us here. And it's the same thing for a poem. It survives the death of the poet, and that's a good reason to write it. Humans have a real existential motivation to be creative. And to me, AI doesn't have this. The only thing AI can ever do is pastiche human activity, because it is programmed to sort data and replicate algorithm. Just like the pig doesn't really want to paint a painting, he wants to do what it's been trained for, because maybe there's a treat at the end. And AI can only do what it's been programmed to. Now, will AI ever experience creative anguish, knowing that they will die someday and that they have to leave a trace of themselves in this world before it's too late? I doubt it, because, well, we don't program machines to die, we program them to stop. Even like in the cutscene with Marcus, he creates a painting because its owner tells him to. He doesn't create a painting because he feels like there's something in the fact of doing a painting. And you can see that, well, the second painting that he does is not a perfect copy as the first one, but it's still kind of close to the style that Carl has. So in a way, he's not really experiencing anything significant, and he's not creating for other machines, he is creating for humans. Real AI art will only arise if machines become self-conscious, and for that, ultimately, they need to be aware that they can die. As long as the only thing they can do is calculate, they won't be capable of poetry, they won't be capable of true music, and they won't be capable of true painting. Now, before I close on this subject, it's important to see the real thing. Will AI produce images presented and sold as authentic art? Yes, of course, easily. They already do. But there's also a pig that does painting, and people who buy these paintings. The market value of the artwork is irrelevant. I think that's our damn fault. And they sell garbage bags, and they sell cans of excrement. So they've proven many times that the monetary value is irrelevant if we want to understand art. So of course AI will sell. It will create images, it will sell. Soon enough, most of the mass-produced decorative canvases and images will be produced by AI. Just like instrumental music, it will be made for decoration, it will not be made for meaningful content. It will most likely be mass-produced and for mass consumption. AI will also probably take care of creating images for advertising purposes. But to me, it's still always stuff in the background, and people will still press themselves into museums to see this one old piece of painted wood, but will never even glance at those highly decorative and well-designed AI banners. People know when it resonates with them. Artists know what resonates with people. And AI and artists will coexist. And I think that the masters of the future will be those who can offer something to the public that a machine could never create, even with all the calculation in the world. Alright, so that's just the reflections that I've been having about this subject, but I'm sure we can spend hours and hours debating about this. What do you think about this? Do you think that AI will soon be a tool for artists to use, like for painters? Do you think that it can ever create something with true feelings? I don't think that. I don't think we'll ever program machines to have true feelings, because having true feelings, as I said, requires to be self-conscious and be aware that death is a possibility. But who knows what the future will be? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Again, thank you very much for watching. Don't hesitate to like and subscribe. I'll see you for the next video, and until then, have fun painting. Bye.